similar is the case with the dams. New construction of dams, which are very important and inevitable for us, for water supply, for electricity, for flood control, but they are also putting our environment and ecosystem of downstream under pressure. So this is my today's topic, and I will move forward. I have three-pronged strategy for this. This is my color scheme, which tells you that there are three questions asked from me to analyze the ecosystem of Lloyd Dam's impacts and what was the Turbela's impacts on ecosystem, and then we will discuss and suggest to counter the impacts of Pasha Dam project. So, dear friend, let's clarify what is the concept of Lloyd dams. Lloyd dams, there are almost 5,000 Lloyd dams in the world. So, you can understand that what is the importance of these dams. And the largest of that is Turbela Dam, right? And Three Gorges Dam is at 22nd number on the list. So, these are very important for a human being. But we will analyze it in the light of International Commission on Lloyd Dams recommendations. These I have taken from their website. It's in front of you. You all know that which are the Lloyd dams. Their criteria is that their height 15 meter, and if height is less than their length of the crest 500 meter. And similarly, on the basis of their storage capacity, their spilling capacity, and the nature of the foundations. So all these factors they have taken, and this is the composite definition they have given. In this graph, dear friends, I specifically want you to take notice that within last century, you know that all the world has realized, and now the dam storage capacity of the world is increasing. Because now the third world countries is a problem of water storage. So water storage, my dear friends, is of very important nature, and each and every country is paying focus on it. But the negative impact of it, that should also be considered. It is stressing our ecosystem. You know, dear friend, what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is the flora and fauna, our aquatic life, our plants and animals, which are highly beneficial for human beings. So these are under pressure, their habitat is under pressure, because dam is a barrier. That is why on the downstream, the water supply suffers. Coming to the second part, this is literature review. Reference the literature review methodology, which was told to us in our lecture of research review by Chaudhary Akram Sahab. He told us that there are two ways. One is experimental, another theoretical. Different. So our model of our course was like that. I have opted for theoretical, like all of you. These are the citations which I have listed earlier for your interest, because these are the basic authors and who have enabled me to to build my structure of my IRP, and their contribution I have highlighted in red. Similarly, these are the research articles which I have referred. These are some other articles. And gentlemen, these two articles are very important. These are written by Pakistani fellows, and they have given a real insight into this problem, that what is the impact of the Turbela Dam on the ecosystem and the downstream of Kotri Barrage. What is the impact in the Sindh province, and what is the level of water and water scarcity over there. So they have clarified the concept of e-flows, and which has helped me greatly to finalize my report. Similarly, these two gentlemen, they also helped me to paint the picture in a beautiful way because I have made the skeleton earlier. So these gentlemen, their work is also praiseworthy. These are a few other lectures which I have referred. Secondly, this is the water literature because I have to get some basic data. So that's available only in water literature. So I got from various resources. And finally, these are few related books which I have in my library. And during my civil engineering, I had these books. And purpose of this is that I use them as a touchstone. I compared my analysis with these books because all the basic environmental data is available in these books. And these are few websites, gentlemen, these provide us the authentic data. I have referred these websites. One of the interesting websites is of Bill Gates. It has a lot of data on climate change. You can visit anytime and you can see how much data is available on this. Methodology, third, coming to this again, in our research methodology, this was a lecture given by Chaudhary. He gave us the insight and told us that these are the two ways, qualitative and quantitative way of methodology. So, like all of you, our model is to go for qualitative because we have lack of time, so that's why we have been given qualitative method. So it was my approach also, the qualitative research methodology. So now fourth, our data and analysis. Here, how I did the analysis of the available data. I gathered the data from references which I have quoted. Then I used the strategy to get the data in chronological order, and which data was relevant to my research, I got it on one side, and extraneous data was rejected. This is the data which I deduced from my references. Now I am going to share you that from these references which I got the basic information about the Bhabha Dam. So all you know that it is producing 3478 megawatt of energy, and its capacity, which live is over here 9.679, it has reduced. I think 33% has reduced. And similarly, dam in Bhabha Dam, this is very important for our survival because we are going to water scarce country. So it's very important for us. And the basic data which I have collected is again enlisted over here. This slide will clarify today's my topic. You see, dear friends, that Kotri Barrage was built in 1955. So after that, you can see there was no much variation in the water towards the downstream of Kotri Barrage. But after the construction of, you can see these black lines show that now the water is reducing. So with downstream of Kotri Barrage, now the water is reducing, which is a case of concern for whole of Pakistan because it is in our national interest. We should look a holistic picture of all of these things. So this is the meaningful data which I have deduced from my all the research. These are the 5 adverse impacts which Bhabha Dam, construction of Bhabha and other dams has imposed and inflicted upon our system. And most of you are aware of these things. And this is agriculture runoff and water logging. This is the main issue of Sindh province. I will show you here in this graph. You can see Sindh cultivated area and comparison of saline is almost 50%. There is so much salinity and water logging in the Sindh province, and the reason is that the ecosystem has been disturbed. Similarly, the most alarming thing, sea level rise, what is called seawater intrusion. It is making life extremely difficult for the districts which are near to the Arabian Sea, Fatah, Badin, and like these districts. Again, you can see this is the graph. The seawater level in Pakistan has risen in 100 years almost 20 centimeter. This is rising, so it is making impact. So we have to counter it by releasing ecological flows from the river Indus. And other impacts are water shortage of mangroves, coastal erosion, mangroves or forests, which are very important for the habitat of our fishes and other things. So these are also on the decline. Similarly, the dolphin, it is becoming extinct. It is usually in the fresh waters. So as the fresh water is reducing towards downstream into the Sindh, so it is another thing which require our attention. So going forward, let's come to my basic theme, conclusion and recommendation. Dear friends, this is my conclusion that large dams are inevitable for us. We cannot compromise on it. So we have to move forward, but with eyes wide open. We have to look at the ecosystem, and how we look at the ecosystem, these are the conclusions which I've drawn. We have to look at the twin menace. This is absence of fresh water in the river downstream of Kotri Barrage. Second, the seawater intrusion. And these two things should be taken care of. Secondly, there is a debate on minimum ecological flows. There is a debate because in our WA, the Water Apportionment Accord 1991, it is given as 10 MF. But IUC, International Union of Conservation of Nature, it tells that there will be 27 MF for the well-being of whole ecosystem. They say that should be more. But 10 MF is also not reaching. It's another debate. We will come to it. And the most important thing, dear friends, you should know that zero flow days. Zero flow days are, friends, this is the graph you see. Zero flow days mean no flow below Kotri Barrage. It's a very alarming thing. And these days are increasing with the passage of every year. It's a very alarming thing. Another, the sediment is not coming, so the areas near low level, they are becoming into the sand dunes, and it is another reason of waterlogging, because flat terrain, the discharges of our river scar scheme in the Sindh, it is not going into the river. It is another reason. There is no proper drainage available in the Sindh. So these districts, I wrote it, I already told, they are suffering. So what we should do for the Bhabha, because it is inevitable, we have to make it. So we should be devising, these are the recommendations. E-flow concept into 1960 treaty. Why? There was no e-flow concept. I've gone through a few pages of the 1960 treaty. Even the word environment is missing. There is no word environment in that. So let alone you can know what about the e-flows, ecological flows. So this is very important, because if we are somehow able to insert few things in the 1960 treaty, we'll get some water from India, basic water, which will give some boost to our river Indus. Otherwise, it will be left to our only for Pakistan. We will have to manage from river Indus. In this way, we will get some extra water. But it will take some more effort. International Panel of Experts, IPOE, its recommends that 5,000 cusecs, it is a basic requirement, below the Kotri Barrage, is this is only way they say that we can counter the seawater intrusion. Otherwise, the situation is getting worse. And further, they say that for mangroves sustainability, because this is a source of livelihood for people also. They say that 25 billion acre feet in any 5 years. During flood season, we have more water in Kharif season. So any 5 years, they say the 25 million acre feet water they want below the poultry. But gentlemen, in this regard, I want to conclude my research. I have my own perception in this regard. I have given the recommendation, conclusion, and detailed analysis of all these things. Because if we don't take action as a nation, then we will suffer, because every impact has a social impact. We should pay attention to environment. In this regard, your attention is required, my dear friends. Please read this, Jawali Sahab. It's for you. गिरते हैं समंदर में बड़े शौक से दरिया, लेकिन किसी दरिया में समंदर नहीं गिरता. But now the situation is reversed. The sea is making intrusion, and we have to counter it somehow to save our districts of Sindh, because these dams are very important for us. But we have to devise a strategy, and this strategy, in my point of view, is only and only. This is the practical solution, in my point of view. You can debate over it. Development of integrated national policy, a holistic picture. We have to come out of our political affiliations. Whether I am from Sindh, whether I am from Punjab, KPK, we have to see a holistic picture. And because it is our national interest. If one promise suffers, it means that whole Pakistan is suffering. So it is my humble request that we should sit together at higher level, and even at lower level, we at our individual level can make and change the minds of people and tell them that these are the ecological flows, and there each and everything is almost documented, but its implementation is the main focus. So gentlemen, now the forum is open to any questions. Ji.
बहुत अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशन दी आपने. असल में बात ये है कि ये जो आपने फाइनल कंक्लूजन दिया ये बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल, बहुत अच्छा है. असल में मसला ये होता है कि जब आप कंटिन्यूसली ये कहते हैं कि हर साल पानी 35 मिलियन एकड़ फीट, हर साल पानी हम समंदर में ज़ाया कर रहे हैं, ये आज तक यही जो भी मैं प्रेजेंटेशन देखता हूँ ना, ये ऐसा है नहीं. आपने जीरो फ्लोज भी दिखाए. ये जब फ्रेश वाटर नहीं जाता समंदर की तरफ, तो जब सी इंट्रूड होता है उसका थोड़ा फिनोमेना बताएं कि क्या मतलब. ठीक है, पानी तो नहीं जा रहा, अब सी इंट्रूजन का फिनोमेना थोड़ा.
सी इंट्रूजन में सर ये है कि जब उसका, चूंकि आप कहते हैं कि सी की डेंसिटी ज़्यादा है, तो उसने पानी जो है वो पीछे प्रेशराइज करके, तो वो आपके जो एरियाज हैं उनमें बेसिकली वो एक कोस्टल इरोजन हो रही है आपके एरियाज में सारे. वो कुछ पिक्चर्स मेरे पास है, फर्दर मैं आपको दिखा. कोस्टल इरोजन का एक फिनोमेना वहाँ पे हो रहा है, जो एरियाज आपका जो कोस्ट के साथ है, these are getting better. Mangroves are also being affected because mangroves are in the almost near the sea, and sea water intrusion. The basic phenomenon is that it is causing the salinity of in your area, and water level, when drinking water is becoming scarce. So these are the adverse effects of sea water intrusion, and we have to somehow counter this. Otherwise, now only 3 districts I have mentioned which are suffering badly, and God forbid, with the passage of time, if we don't take the proactive measures, so then it will be worsening further.
Thank you. Due to this, we are wasting 1 lakh acre land in 1 year. Due to this.
There are 0 days of water. If we meet this Diamond Basha, so these days will be increased. Yes.
No, sir. I have given the solution that 0 days mean that there is no water beyond Kotri. But in this way, we have already a strategy in place, but there is no implementation. If 10 MAF water, which is not going below Kotri, which is practically not going because I am at Chashma Barrage. This is the main issue. ICSA is coming again and again, and now they are installing a metering system, which my friend has given detailed presentation. So this is the main issue, sir. If we even this 10 MAF we could manage, then this issue will be resolved. There is no such issue. We can manage these things, but there is pilferage, there are system losses, there are so much things are going on. And these are contributing to this our scarcity, and still people are suffering. Well, otherwise, there is no such issue. And secondly, I have given solution that Indus Water Treaty, this is very important. The whole world is going for environmental flows. This is a buzzword nowadays. Environmental flow, there is no mention in the Indus Water Treaty, and this is not a hard and fast rule. We can change and modify treaties. We can sit together and tell India that please release some ecological flows, because this is vital for survival of our habitat, for our human beings, and also for aquatic life. So these all things can contribute to a certain and required level of water below Kotri Barrage.
सर ये जो मेगा प्रोजेक्ट्स की कंस्ट्रक्शन है ना, जैसे सर दियामीर है, आपका काला बाग हो गया, चश्मा से भी, ये आप उसको कम से कम मिटिगेट कर सकते हैं। जो जीरो है उसको आप मेंटेन कर सकते हैं, 5000 4000 दे सकते हैं उस कंडीशन में ट्राई एरिया में। तो ये एक सॉल्यूशन है टू कंस्ट्रक्ट मेगा प्रोजेक्ट।
Thank you, sir.
आपका रेफरेंस का पेज नंबर और ये कहाँ से लिया है?
आप सारे मैं लिख के ले आया हूँ। Sir, thank you, sir.